Okay, Ben.
All right. Hi, Sue. Hi, Jim. Sue and Jim Truschel from California.
California.
For our 14th reunion.
But I said before, this is the 50th year, my anniversary when I started with Harbison-Walker.
50 years.
50 years today.
Well,
And
right.
I was there before him.
Well, he's a lot younger than you then.
And I was there before Bob. I was there before Bob Leisure. And I taught Bob everything he knows.
Well, he's pretty good. Look at him now. He's running this whole show here, see? You can see.
So he owes it all to me.
How are things in California?
Good.
What have you been doing all year?
Come out and visit. Nobody ever we to see us.
We were in California only one. We were on our way to Hawaii. We stopped there one for a day, I think.
Once, okay.
All right.
Well.
You got to spend more time in California.
Yeah.
Anything new? Still golfing, Jim?
Once a week.
Sue, you doing a lot of babysitting?
Nope.
How many grandchildren?
No, 20.
20 grandchildren.
No babysitting.
No babysitting.
No great-grandchildren.
No great, no.
Well, good.
No.
You look good.
Thanks.
Glad to have you back.
Good to be here.
We were here 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
You haven't aged a bit. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
This is your first, no, second time you've been back to a reunion? You were our first one.
14 years ago.
Yeah, right. This is our 14th reunion.
Well, you're looking well.
Well, you are too.
You stood up well.
Yes, you have too. So do you have, can you explain what you've done in the last 14 years in about 5 minutes?
Yeah, I could if I had a speed recorder. And they don't make those yet.
All right.
They're holding those back, you see. But if I had one of them, I could give you 5 minutes and 50 years.
Well, you were recently out at Fulton for a reunion with the people from Vandalia?
I tried to find some people that remember me.
Yeah,
And there was a few.
How many were there?
At our dinner we had, I think there was 12 or 14.
And they were all there when you first started to go to
A
Vandalia?
couple of them were husbands or wives.
Oh, okay.
I'd say half of them were there.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them long since retired.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting thing because I went to Vandalia I was secretary to the head man. I went to the Vandalia with him 70 years and 2 days from the time that I went out this last time.
70 years.
70 years and 2 days.
You're holding up well. Must have been your good life with Harbison-Walker.
Well, Harbison was part of it, of course. And they paid their salaries regularly. I never had to call them and ask them their way.
Well, that's good.
And they didn't do too much downsizing.
No. They, you had the same number of people there when things were good as when they were bad. They didn't hire extra people when things were good, and they didn't lay off.
Of course, my philosophy is when you talk about downsizing, you're talking about laying off a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the first people that should be laid off is the top people.
Start at the top more
Because they hired these people.
Yeah, okay. That doesn't work that way, though.
No, it doesn't work.
No. Well, John, welcome back. Good to see you.
This may be the last supper.
Hope not. You? Okay.
Recording? Okay.
All right.
Onward. Okay.
14th reunion.
Have that
All
down there.
right, Gail,
Okay.
tell us about your family
Oh,
now.
my family. Well, this year we have our son joined us in March because he changed careers, and he's staying with us and going back to school, and he'll be an art teacher, and we're very happy to have him because our other son is there, and they enjoy each other very much.
Well, that's great.
And all I need is my daughter from Cincinnati, and my life will be complete.
All right.
Okay, Jenny?
Jenny, now you've been traveling this
Yeah,
year.
we've been traveling a little bit, yeah.
All right, where did you go?
Well, we went to Casino Niagara because I like to gamble and Bob doesn't. So he went anyway. You know, we went there 3 times. We went to Branson and we're going to Williamsburg tomorrow morning.
Weren't you in France?
No, we didn't go to
Oh, you didn't go to France?
I was going to go there to see
You didn't go-
Diana, you mean?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I wasn't invited and it hurt me.
All right.
No. Okay, and that's...
Well, we're glad that you made the 14th reunion.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. You did it. You did it very well.
We did it twice.
Oh, you did it twice.
No, we went in with the two...
They didn't want to be with their husbands.
Hi, Martin.
How are you, sir?
Welcome back.
Good to see
14th
you.
reunion.
14th?
And Bob,
We're 14
how comes
years old now.
how comes the women were here together and you two? Huh?
I don't know.
found us
They
out
said
there
they weren't going to be in here.
Oh, well, they come in and they were interviewed. All right. So you have your son living with you now?
My son is living with us.
So you have two sons down
There's
there?
two down there, right.
Get your daughter over from Cincinnati, you got a mate.
She was down there for about 3 weeks this summer with her 3 grandchildren.
Great.
We had a ball. We had a ball.
Fine. Bob,
Summer long,
you're
yeah,
traveling
we're
all the time?
Oh, we've been traveling.
Where are you going tomorrow? You're leaving.
We're going to Williams.
Williams.
Yeah. We're going down for a week.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, it'll be nice down there.
Oh, good.
Just
good.
relax.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We're driving down.
Oh, great.
Yeah, one thing I was reading the other day, see these women waving at us?
Yes.
God, they keep saying that God created
If we turn that camera
man
on.
first, and he thought he could do better, so he created women. And when he did that,
Yeah.
he really made a mistake, because who was the most intelligent? The women ate the apple, didn't it? Wasn't
Right.
there a woman that ate the apple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see you next year.
We'll see you. So.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay? Okay. Okay, we got Herb Timmons here. Is this the first one, Herb?
This is the first one.
First one. And Herbie is from?
From
Bellevue, Washington.
Right.
And how are things in Bellevue?
Bellevue is fine. Bellevue is fine.
Oh, that's what I was afraid of. And
We don't have doors opening in Bellevue.
what do you do to keep busy in Bellevue?
Well, not too much, John. Just taking things easy.
You're retired?
I'm retired.
Officially?
Yes.
And you've been retired how long?
Since 1991.
Oh, geez, I've only got a year on you.
Yeah, right.
And so what are the activities that keep you busy?
Just a lot of outdoor activities, walking, going swimming, and that type of thing. And
How about ball games?
go to the big Mariners, Rooter, Seattle Seahawks.
Well, let's see. We got a local boy out there from here. From
Who is that?
Pittsburgh. Can't think of his name right now. We do have a local boy from Pittsburgh. Came through one of the...
Oh, what's the
schools.
Mariners?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And also, oh, well, Ken Griffey has the Nora background.
Right, Ken
Yeah,
Griffey and
his father.
His dad was with the
Yeah,
Mariners for a long time too,
yeah.
as a coach, and yeah,
And
that's in Denora.
also on the, let's see, baseball team. There's a local boy, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
okay,
things are okay out there,
everything's fine.
and you're keeping busy.
Yes, I am.
And you look pretty good.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Thank
End of
you.
interview.
Inside and out.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Last year, Frank pushed me into this, and he says, don't do the talking. Let the other guy do the talking.
Oh.
So you're up for
I
it
don't know
now.
what to talk about.
Well, let's see now. For instance, how long have you been coming to this?
Oh, I've been coming here 14th year. 14th
Every year?
Every year, yeah.
You're looking good. What are you doing to keep busy?
Drinking. Drinking and dating.
Hey, that's good. Hey, no one ever knocked that. George Burns smoked cigars for years and years, and
Yes.
that's what he did.
Yes,
Yeah.
he lived a long way.
Where are you living?
Living in Dormont.
Dormont?
Yeah.
Is that where you lived
Living-
before?
Yes, living there all alone. I'm own housekeeper and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't ask me how old I am now. Everyone asks me that.
Well, someone leaked that out the last time. But my memory's short.
Oh,
That's like the two guys that were in golfing.
91.
George says to Fred, he says, Fred, don't forget now, I can't see, so you watch my ball. And so they both hit off, and then he went down fairway, and George says, you see my ball? Yeah, but I forget. So one couldn't see, one couldn't remember.
I'm 91 and a half.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, good for 91 and a half.
Yep.
That's fine. How come I don't see you living in Dormont? I come over to the village here.
Well,
I don't
you-
see you over to the village.
You never stop in.
Ah, but you're supposed to come over to the village. That's where the
That's the last
retirees
time I
gather.
saw you. At the village, I think.
That may be. That may be. Okay.
Well, okay.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, John. Thank you.
You know this couple?
I saw him 2:30 this afternoon.
In the mall. My name
Over in the village.
my name is Jose.
Let's do it this way.
All right.
How are we fixed there,
Are
John?
we
right there.
in the
John says
scope?
we're fixed.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Dipp. And Manny, how long have you been retired?
Too long.
14 years.
14 years. Okay, that's
15.
15.
15.
Oh, okay, that's 8 more than me.
Yeah.
And you're living where now?
In the city of Pittsburgh, on across from St. Paul's Cathedral, right on Craig's.
In Oakland.
Oh, are you?
In Oakland.
We're in an apartment.
Oh, okay.
University Square.
Okay,
Number two,
okay, yeah,
right across.
yeah. No, I thought you lived where you were talking
No, we're
earlier.
at Forest Hills on it.
We fight the Pitt students every day
I
trying to
imagine you do.
get
I
through on
imagine so.
traffic.
Yes.
But
And
we love it. We love it just the same. We love it, Oakland.
so what do you do for extracurricular activities?
Shop every day, wash clothes,
He takes over. He's doing all my work.
and help the old people that go to take care of the needs.
Well, yeah. Those are older. You need more help than you.
Turn around, somebody's been carried out of the building.
Is that right?
We're hoping that doesn't happen to either one of us soon.
Hey, they closed one of your giant eagle stores out there.
Yes, that's very sad for a lot of
Yeah, I know
people.
just where that one is.
So you're
Well, they were
familiar
getting
with
robbed
Oakland?
and
Yeah.
cheated.
Oh, yeah, that's what I heard. So how many grandchildren?
None.
Oh, don't you?
No
She's with us.
grandchildren. Our daughter's with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She has not married as
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, she's supposed to come too? Yep. We have Larry Sheetsley and Shirley Sheetsley. And Larry's just recently retired as of
November of 96.
November 96, a new retiree. Since you only have less than a year under your belt, have you gotten in the swing of things?
Oh, yes, but I haven't really had a chance to get all of my retirement projects in yet.
But you're keeping busy.
Yes.
And I know you do have 3 children.
Right.
And where are they situated?
Well, up until just a few weeks ago, one was situated in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Which one is that? Mark, okay.
But they just returned about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I guess it's been 3 weeks.
And Larry?
And, Larry Jr.
Texas?
is in Texas, yeah.
Still in Texas.
Yeah.
And Leanne is the next
Leanne's
one.
in Bethel Park.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay. Okay, I still remember that. I didn't leave my memory here. Almost 7 years out of the homestead there.
I'll
Yeah.
never be that good. Even 1 year out.
So
Sandy.
what do you do? Sandy's got 3 little ones. He's over in Pleasant Hills. He's doing fine. In fact, Dee's baby's sitting one tonight.
Yeah. We almost got stuck that way, but we had Leanne take an early shift and get off at 6, so that's why we made it.
What are you doing to keep busy day to day?
Really, I've been, since I retired, I've been traveling quite a bit to different parts of the country, and of course down in the Dominican Republic. And
But you're not going to catch up to Bud Colin.
no, I can't keep up with them.
Bud Colin wears out tires.
I fly.
My daughter works for US Air.
Oh, okay.
We've been to
Well,
Hawaii and California. and
okay.
Texas,
Well,
and
that's
Dominican Republic.
the way to go. Bud likes to go on wheels. He goes on wheels.
Well, we're going to California, in fact, in October with big wheels,
Camping.
camping on house trailers.
Okay.
Is that what he does? Camp?
No.
No, he just travels.
Okay.
He just
Oh, that's fun.
he goes from one spot to another spot. Yeah. Yeah, he likes that.
And then
Okay.
I've been
Bike quit.
doing some consulting work too.
Thanks. All right, good.
Okay.
Good to see you.
All right, John.
I don't think we have all that much to say.
Well, I talked to you last time, I think. Yeah, we'll talk again. So what happened in the last year?
Well, I was in the Heart Walk, you know, and I did 2 of the 5Ks.
Oh, did you?
2 out of 3 miles.
Good, good.
Yeah, that's the most I could do, I
You
think.
still live where you'd been living before?
Oh, the same old place.
Okay.
And in June, we went to England and Scotland and toured that, didn't we?
Sure, we started in Edinburgh and went to St. Andrews in New York.
When did you go to
down to London?
When did you go to Scotland?
Earlier this year.
in June.
Oh, because ironically, our organist at our church, he goes over every year, and he does trips.
Oh, really?
He's connected with travel.
No, we
he
did
does
this
it all out of
the-
Upper St.
Well,
Clair.
it was...
But they were
see,
just there a month ago.
Betty's brother went with us, with his wife, and did all the driving, and that's how come. But he wanted to go to Glasgow. The Rotary International meeting was there.
25,000
people.
Can you believe that?
They need a stadium.
They're going to have in Indianapolis next year. It'll be interesting to see how they compare with
How it works
Glasgow.
out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Listen, it's very nice to be here at this.
One of the
It's-
things, when somebody sees you on the corner looking at the map, in Glasgow, they stop and tell you where to go.
Oh, that's nice. It is interesting that the international people, when they come here, they look for the chapters here.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, they have to make up. I mean, they can
Is that
only
what it
miss
is?
so many
Oh,
meetings,
okay.
and like what is it,
'Cause we-
80% they strive for, so they have to make up
That's
meetings.
right.
Because
Yeah.
we had Indian
And-
neighbors, and the father came over here, and he was always interested in Rotary.
Sure, that's right.
We went to Betty's brother's. He had a special thing. He has a perfect record, never missing.
Perfect record.
Paul Harris luncheon.
The Paul Harris luncheon. There were 2,500 in that. Can you imagine?
But isn't it
beating
nice
that
to be
many?
here tonight, Ed, with all your
Yeah,
friends
sure.
from Harbison-Walker? Good.
Yeah.
Well, it was very
Well,
nice.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ed, we'll see you around.
Sure enough. Thank
Are we supposed to talk so that
Yes.
they can hear it?
Now, Alan Ginger Rankin. Okay, were you here last year, Al?
Yes, of course. I'm here every year, except when I'm outside of out of the
Okay.
country. You know? When I'm out of the country, then I cannot be here, which is, I guess,
Okay.
more or less understandable, right?
Okay, sure, I'll accept that. Sure. Okay, let's get updated on the kids now. Where's
Oh,
Tommy?
I thought about it. Tom is in Washington. He's working for the FAA, and Zuard is in Washington. And
He's there too.
He's a lawyer. Yeah.
Wow, okay, so they see each other.
And occasionally, yes. I mean, they see each other very often, but we see them occasionally.
Oh,
And Andy is in suburban Cleveland, and he works for Ford.
okay, now,
Everybody's all right. Now,
Okay,
we
now-
are collecting grandchildren now. We used to have none, and now we have 5.
oh boy.
So, I mean, the ranks are multiplying, not quite as fast as rabbits, but almost. You know.
And the age group is?
Age group is from
7 to 3 months.
3 months to 7 years.
Okay. And you
They
see
start
them? You
developing.
see them much?
Too often for me, not often enough for Ginger.
You can
That's
always.
the grandmother, you know,
Well,
for you.
ours we have 3 little. They live over in Pleasant Hills.
They do. No?
But we don't see them too often. They're just, in fact, Dee's babysitting one tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, she's babysitting.
You know that's the thing. I mean, it's so nice when they come,
Yep.
and it's so nice when they leave.
Yep. I know a lot of times they're going to stay for 5,
2
6
days
hours.
or so.
5, 6 hours, and we cut it down to 3. That's enough.
Deadly tired. I know how.
So you keep them busy, Al?
Well, no, we already had so much on the thing, and we can't use up the whole field.
Well, Frank doesn't have anyone lined up for me.
I guess he's trying to get Juan and Doris, you know. So I mean, we yield the chair to the president.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. 7th year retirement.
Enjoying life.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, since I've never met you, I've seen you at some function, but I never did get to make the tour downtown. But I did go to the Russ Bly reception, which was there, and I thought maybe you might make it, but okay.
I was traveling. Unfortunately, I like Ross a lot, but I was on the plane, so I
It was a nice affair, nice affair, nice affair.
What you used to do in...
I was a complaint handler for our company.
Well, that's not an easy job.
And also I administered to all our warehouses in the United States, in Canada.
So that thing of the complaints is not very nice.
No, no. In fact, Dick Hand retired about 6 years ago, and I saw Dick over at the village, and he made a remark, and I said, no, it never bothered me. I enjoyed it. I was 5.5 weeks short of 40 years.
I'm going into 38 already.
Are you?
Yeah, next January I'll be 38.
Well, how do you like Pittsburgh?
A lot. I like it a lot. The only thing different for us is the winter.
Okay.
It's really cold compared with what we're accustomed to, but the people is very nice. The city is very nice.
Usually we get that compliment that the people,
It's
you
very-
need to get mixed in with them.
It's very safe, and for the size that it is, has good symphonics, good ballet,
Yeah, there's
everything you want to do.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
enough culture.
It's
How about the food?
I
You
enjoy
get
it.
acclimated?
Oh yeah, I like Italian food. So I'll be very happy in Pittsburgh.
And,
I've been traveling like crazy, but
How about the children?
Well, my daughter is happy here. She really likes to live here.
She's 4 years old.
And what does she like in the way of food?
She likes everything.
Everything.
She likes,
She loves
she's
everything.
a very special kid. She likes like smoked salmon, capers,
Olive oil.
olive oil, vegetables, olives. I mean, it's different to any kid. I mean,
We had Indian neighbors, and they got acclimated to American food. And the couple wanted to go back to India, so they did for 7 years. When he came back again, he went to work for EI DuPont down Wilmington. He says the kids just got Americanized.
Yeah,
they just liked it. They liked the life here. They liked the food.
we know a lot of Latin Americans here, and none of the wives want to go back. So
They are really happy living here.
they get Americanized very fast.
Oh, yes, they do, especially in today's life.
Oh, and I went to school here in the 60s, and then again at the end of the 60s, at the beginning of the 60s, and then at the end of the 60s.
Well, we have a lot of people that do their schooling here.
Pretty
in the United States.
Americanized too, so.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Really nice meeting you, and it's really a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Doris.
My pleasure.
Okay. Come on in a little closer, please. Okay, Woody Kleiner, right? Yeah, Woody's been here every year. Jeez. And you're from where, Woody?
I'm from Florida.
Florida, presently.
Presently, yeah.
And-
He worked at Clearfield, he worked
That's
at Hayes,
what I
and he
want to
worked at Wyndham.
Okay, I thought it was Clearfield. I didn't know it was Wyndham, though.
Yeah, he retired from Wyndham.
I was at Hayes too.
Oh, now you're getting back a little early there. That maybe
I was there 2 years.
in what years?
60s. I think it's 68, 60.
Oh, okay. I started with the company in ¡51, so I remember Hayes. And this is the daughter, Laura.
Granddaughter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, yes.
I'm his daughter-in-law, and this is his granddaughter.
And you're living where?
Valencia.
Oh, I know where that is. Oh,
Many
sure.
people do.
I know where Valencia is.
Yeah, Dad's here for the summer from Florida visiting.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's the setup. We got Woody here,
Yeah.
we got the daughter-in-law, and we got a daughter here, granddaughter.
Granddaughter, yep.
Okay, we got
it.
that straight. Okay. And you'll be going back to Florida when the snow comes or before it comes?
Last of the month.
Last of the month.
He says it's
Well, we haven't had the winter in September, Woody. I think you could stretch it into middle of October.
Well, I can't.
No, you can. Well, see, if
Been
you
here since May.
yeah, but if you start south, see, you get away from it a little bit each day if you travel
I
south.
get after that plane can go.
What are you doing to keep busy, Woody?
I went through a rider nation.
Are you still doing some work?
Yeah, I work 3 days a week.
Oh, That's
And
fine.
I work in the garage at the same time.
Good.
When they can catch me.
Does he come up every year?
Yeah, every year.
Oh,
He comes up from
well, that's
May to
nice.
September.
Oh, that's good. That's
Sometimes we get him up here at Christmas time, too.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. And
As long as we can.
you look like you're hanging on pretty good, and I won't ask you your age, but I know you've been around. I know.
I'm 87.
Are you?
84.
Okay. I'm in my 7th year retirement, Woody. 7th year.
And I retired 22 years, 23 years.
How many years did you put in for the company?
37 and a half.
37 and a half. Uh-huh. I beat you there. I got you there.
How many
I was 5.5 weeks short of 40.
Oh, my.
That's the only company you worked for.
Huh?
It's the only company you worked for, Harbison-Walker.
Well, I worked for North American one time.
Uh-oh. That's bad word. We don't say that too loud.
North American.
Did you?
I was in the CC camp, too.
Well, I remember those people, yeah.
And I went
I got some...
CCA, too.
Oh, I remember that, too. Yeah, the CC camp, I remember. I got silver dollars from that, because that's how they paid you. Silver dollars.
I don't remember how they paid it because we didn't get
That's what it was, Woody. Silver dollars. I have a bunch of them at home. Yeah.
Young woman.
Out in Colorado?
No, North Maine.
North Maine.
You're like 80.
Oh, the several fellows that we knew from my hometown, south of Pittsburgh, they went to Colorado. That's where they did their work.
When I come into the Pittsburgh area,
Uh-huh.
I went to the Hayes plant, and the fellow says, "Hey, Woody, do you remember me?" He says, "I was on the CC camp baseball team."
Well, let's see. Frank might have someone else lined up, so we'll say goodbye for now. How are tricks?
Hi.
Fine.
You look great.
Fine. How about get one over here and one over here? I wondered when you two were going to make it up there. Get a little closer, Harry.
You know, we do travel the relative route, and we're staying with Cousin Sue and Tom Kearns.
Oh, okay.
They're cousins now.
Okay. Okay, now how long have you been retired, Harry?
14.
14.
No, 13 starting June the 28th.
Okay, you got about 6 on me, and I'm in my 7th. I'm the end of 7th this coming year. Still living? Are you on the river?
No,
No,
we just sold the place on the river and moved. We've moved twice in the past 4 or 5 months.
We moved in with our son and stayed 3 months. He said, "Mother, y'all sold the place on the river. Where are you moving?" And we said, "Didn't you move home one time?"
Because I recall you told me you're going to build a place on the river.
We did.
And whenever I asked certain people that made contact with, I kept asking, "Did Harry get on the river?" Yeah, he got on the river.
We moved down there temporarily, John.
Okay.
What was it, 13 or 14 years?
So where are you now?
We're in south of Birmingham in Pelham. We're in Shelby County, which is the way Birmingham's going. It's on the route to Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
It's the way the town's sort of growing.
We went down through there some years ago, and I had to take the wife and show her where I went to school at Auburn there during my World War II days.
You went to Auburn?
During World War II, I spent some time there.
Wonderful.
So finally, I got the wife to admit that, okay, I got to satisfy, I got to do it, okay. So she finally did it. So we went down through there, I don't know, 8-10 years ago. And I thought about you, and
I wish you'd call.
I wish you had called.
we wanted
got plenty of room. Come back.
we wanted to see the Auburn and see what it was like from the days I was there in 44.
Big difference.
Oh, there were 2 buildings left, Harry.
How did you say?
The old administration building,
last year.
the old administration building, and the quadrangle.
Yeah.
It's called the quadrangle. Those are the only 2 I recognize.
Okay.
John, I never knew you were at all.
I didn't either.
I went through the World War II just so much
You probably
time.
dated my cousins.
Oh, we were nasty down there, especially at the quadrangle. That's where the girls stayed.
Right. That's wild.
That's a real surprise.
I was there from 47 to 51.
I was there in 44.
Okay.
Our
They
son
were there.
graduated from there, too. Our oldest son.
So what are you doing to keep busy?
just having fun.
Just moving around.
Yeah, we had a small business, a frame shop that we operated. Had a retail shop in Jasper, and then we closed it and moved it to the home. And we sold it.
Back in April, we sold it. And moved into town, and it's been great. Good life.
How about children, grandchildren?
Only two. Two of the best-looking little red-headed grandkids.
You had 2 boys, didn't you?
2 boys, you know. One's married, one's
one's
never married.
And he's an Episcopal priest in Memphis. And the youngest one is still in school. We thought we'd never get him out. And he's been a permanent student.
Oh, one of those guys. Yeah, we see those quite frequently. Just continue going to school. That way you don't have any commitments or responsibilities or whatever.
John, when are y'all going to come south again?
The wife is getting tougher to get out of that house. She's getting tougher. It looks like Frank's going to push me here, so we're going to leave. Nice seeing you again. See you later.
You two got to turn around.
Okay, we on, John? We're on. Okay, we have Sue and Tom Carnes. And Tom, are you recently retired?
A year and a half now.
Year and a half retirement. And you're living where?
In Bethel Park.
I did see that somewhere.
Yeah.
I did see that, but I don't see you.
Because I am fully employed with F&S International as sales manager.
I saw Dick Hand this afternoon over the village.
Really?
That's the first I'd seen him since I left Harbison-Walker.
I haven't seen him since he left.
Now, I was going to say, see you tonight, and I thought, no, the way they were talking, I don't think they were coming. They have a wedding coming up at Nantucket next Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's what they were getting ready for.
They were getting ready for that.
So,
yes. But it's good seeing you again.
yeah, likewise here. What are you doing to keep busy other than?
Other than?
It's just work? No playtime?
A lot of work, a lot of travel, and vacation time, and we have 3 children, 10 grandchildren.
Oh, that's enough.
Occupies a lot of time.
You can stop there. 10 grandchildren. Okay, I have 3 that live in Pleasant Hills, and
Oh, you're lucky.
and we're busy with 3. Yeah, we're busy with 3.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Glad
I
they're
don't know about
close.
the lucky times, Sue. It's just like Al Rinke says. Al says it's nice to have them, but it's time to go home. And I've heard that before, Tom, and I know what they mean.
That's
I
right.
agree with them.
But ours, they live out of town, so when we go to visit them, it has to be a 2 or 3 day trip. So we can't just go home. We have to hang in there till the bitter end.
But then Sue has this soft spot where they come to visit for long periods.
And they have to come visit for 10 days.
And then we get them all up and take them up to the camp north of Clearfield. And that's where we have a lot of pleasure time with all the grandchildren.
Oh, so you get a big gathering together.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Very
nice.
good.
Yes,
Well,
we do.
Clearfield's been noted for that.
Yeah,
That's
we get
right.
together a lot.
Yeah,
Yes, we
Clearfield.
do.
Right.
I recall when Ralph Wheathorn used to be in the office. Ralph always went up to shindigs up there.
Yes.
Because he enjoyed the people up there.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember Ralph.
Right.
He was my first boss. 1959.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Let's not go dating ourselves.
Yes, sir.
now.
Thanks for your time. Really nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Yes.
By the way, I'll ask the questions. Okay? Here you are for the, what is this, 13th or 14th reunion? How many have you been to?
Don't know what he's saying.
How many years have you been coming now to our reunion?
I've only missed one.
You've missed only one. I can't remember what this is, in 13th or 14th. Pretty close to. You only missed one. You come all the way from Arizona.
It was sort of busy.
Talk to Rose, and then we'll open the door and go and move in and eat.
Okay.
Take me through.
Well, I'm just going to update him here a little bit. What class is this, 13th or 14th? 14th. Okay, you only missed one out of 14. And you're still in Arizona, right? Okay, I've been reading the newsletters, and you're still contributing your information with the newsletters. We still see, but you still write for the newsletter. So we do see the articles that you write for the newsletters. Okay. Okay. Nice seeing you again, Bob.
Didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I know.
Dr. Rose.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay, Rose. All righty. That's yours.
I knew that it covered this.
Okay. This is our 14th Frank said. How many have you been to?
I think I've been at least to about at least 3 that I can remember. The last 3.
But you've been coming to the last
But
few.
I've been coming.
Yeah. And what are you doing to keep busy?
Oh, just about everything.
Turn around, we can't see it. There you are. That's good.
Oh, I managed to play bridge, and I'm doing work at the pantry, food pantry.
Okay. You're doing a little charity work.
Little charity work.
Okay, that's fine.
And then take care of a shut-in.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
That's
But you're keeping busy.
But I'm keeping
Your
busy.
day isn't dragging.
No.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Thanks, Rose.
That's the end of the show.
Walker retiree reunion. Now, from the committee who worked so hard to put this together, many thanks for coming, especially the out-of-towners who must make a real effort to get here. And speaking of the out-of-towners, we have people representing 7 states tonight, all the way from California to Florida, in addition to Pennsylvania. So I think that's pretty good that someone will take the effort to drive in here tonight just to be with their, hopefully their old friends.
We're not so old.
Now, I'm sure that you are not here to listen to me talk, but to enjoy chatting with your old friends, which is the basis for a reunion anyway. But before we call on the, quote, Reverend Dave Skelly for the invocation, I would like to share a word of caution with you. If any of you are part of any organization, I suggest strongly that you attend every meeting. I missed one with the HW retirees and wound up with this job. So keep in mind, don't miss any meeting. They also cautioned me to no jokes. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to share just one, because I think all of us have made many trips to the doctors recently, which we didn't particularly care to do. And they become more frequent. But I had a good friend, it's supposed to be a true story, lived next door to us. Went to the doctor, said, "Doctor, I'm having real problems." He said, "Every time I touch here, it hurts. I touch here, it hurts. I touch here, it hurts. I touch my knee, it hurts." The doctor said, "I'll give you an examination. We'll see what the problem is." Checked him out. The guy said, Doctor, quick, what's the problem?" He said, "You have a broken finger." No jokes. Well, let's get on with the dinner. Make sure your dinner selection ticket is out so that the servers can recognize it. And now here's Dave with our invocation. Dave?
Let's get serious and lift our hearts to God in prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you for the many blessings you have showered on each one of us, particularly as we enjoy good health and loving families. As we gather around these tables, we are reminded of the many years of working together and the friendships that have resulted and existed for many years. Many could not be here with us tonight because of age or poor health, and we pray that you will comfort and sustain them and also their caregivers. Bless this time together, and we ask for safe travel to our respective homes. Now bless this food, may it nourish and strengthen our bodies. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
If any 911 calls, I assume the dinner was more than acceptable. I certainly enjoyed mine. But before we get to the real meat of this gathering, the prizes, I would like to take just a moment to address an important aspect of the retiree organization, which appears to be loosely run at best. I understand bylaws exist, and I think that Ron Clammer may have made reference to those last year, although few, if any, have seen them. Somewhere, however, the designation big shot and flunky are registered. But as vague as this seems, we need to seriously consider and recognize several people who put this evening together. They will not admit to being either big shots or flunkies because of their modesty. But Bob, Mac, Frank, and your spouses, thanks very much for all the work. We're sorry Mac couldn't be here this evening. Now on to the prizes. As is a custom, we have a group of special prizes for special people for doing special things. The first is retirees who have traveled the farthest. And here we have a tie. We have a tie with Herb Timmons and Jim Truschel. I can tell Jim he's going to get some golf balls because he had the long... Jim gets golf balls because he had the longest drive. Where's that no joke sign?
You gotta come up to get them so we get a picture while it's happening. So don't walk too far, Roy.
Oh, I see.
Now the newest retiree is Larry Sheetsley. Now Larry wouldn't tell us how old he was, but I know that I have socks older than him and I'm still wearing them. What? He hasn't?
He's retired. Objection overruled.
Beverly, there's two retirements, mental and physical. And I think...
Thank you.
Now we have the retirees who have been retired the longest, and we have a tie here, Rose Jura and Bob Beedling. Bob, you're safe. I've been cautioned not to say a word. We have a special service award now for Bob Scheer, who is credited with having the longest continuous news contribution. Where is Bob? Oh, very good. Our next special award is actually three people, and we're giving one to Woody Kreiner for bringing the most guests.
You gotta come up and get it, Woody. You don't have to bring your guests.
We have one for Martin Veeder for being the most regular type of attendee. The one for John Owen, who we shall call our senior representative.
Right over here. Boys got it.
Oh, gee. The next gentleman, Roy Brooks, was so intent on having the first reservation that he gave his 97 reservation to Frank right after the 96 dinner.
So I take your check tonight for next year.
The next is the Gold Star Award. That's people who have attended all 14 reunions. We have 4 of them, and we do it on a rotating basis. Last year was Bob Leisure. This year it is Bennett Lewis. We have a former employee with us this evening, Gene Lohmeyer. We also have a first reunion from attendee with Tom Carnes. First of many more, I hope. Also a first reunion for Harry Gardner.
Thank you.
And we created a very special one for the, quote, Reverend, end quote, Dave Skelly for having the longest running invocations. Now, it's not over yet. Through the great generosity of HW, we have more. We have special table prizes. There are at each table 2 stars, and it's on the curve of the back of your chair.
On the right side.
On the right side. So if everyone will take a quick look and come up and claim your prize. Yay! When you find your star, please come up and claim your prize. We have an old napkin we'll give you. Oh. No, you're not.
But Dorothy's not.
No, I noticed I had a star on my chair. You doing okay? You're looking great.
That's your first one out. Not anymore.
that's all over, I hope. The last time I saw anything that organized, they called it a Chinese fire drill. We have created a very special gift tonight on the spur of the moment. When I came in, Martin Veeder, who was part of an organization we used to call Calcolite a few years ago, and I'm sure everyone will remember, coveted the briefcase that I had, and it had the word Calcolite on it. So as a special gift, we're going to give this to Martin, if he'll just come up and get it.
That's embarrassing. It's yours.
No, I've got a ton full of briefcases.
Take the first engagement to handle it.
Well, tonight, we have the honor of having with us the relatively new president of HW, Juan Bravo, and his lovely wife, Doris. Juan had planned to be with us last year, which would have made him the new president of HW. But business plans changed at the last minute and he had to cancel. We appreciate his being here this evening to bring us up to date on the happenings at HW and global industrial technologies. Juan?
Thank you very much, Ken. First of all, I hope you will understand my Spanglish, which is not as good as your English, but I will try to do my best. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this lovely reunion. I think this happening every year is wonderful, and I hope in years to come it will be people that will keep this organization alive. It's really something remarkable. Well, what can I tell you about Harbison-Walker that you don't know? I mean, I've been here a year and a half, and most of you have been here between 30 and 40 years, so I don't think I can tell you much about it, but I will say that in the last 3 years we have been concentrated our efforts to make Harbison-Walker global again. We acquired the Mexican operations in which I used to work. After that, we acquired the Chilean operation. We have a joint venture going on in China and a new joint venture in Southeast Asia. And about a couple of months ago, we bought the second biggest producer of refractories in Chile. We're very close to have something in Europe. I think in about a month and a half, we will have again a foot in Europe, which we consider very important. Europe is the biggest refractory market in the world, being the U.S. the second. And of course, the growing of the highly developed areas of Southeast Asia and Latin America, we just can't neglect it for the future. In the States, we are making a tremendous effort to be the leader. You can ask Tom Soroka. Every time I see him with more and more gray hair. And that's because, unfortunately, the U.S. is the most competitive market in the world for refractories. I was talking with the guys in my table, and I was telling them that the price of refractories in Latin America, Southeast Asia, Europe is about 30 to 35% better in prices than the U.S. And if you relate some of the things that are happening in the industry, we were talking about BOFs, that they're running between 10,000 and 19,000 hits. Ladles that are almost staying there forever, now got gone in material. So we're the only industry that are really self-killers. We do better and better refractories to be able to sell less and less refractories. I don't know how long we're going to be able to do that. I hope I will have enough time to be sitting in one of these tables because if this thing keeps going this way, it's really very, very difficult. That's why we are expanding our operations to other parts of the world. The U.S. and Canadian market is a very major market. We're still doing a lot of good things. About 40% of our sales now are in products developed in the last 5 years. One of our maybe more important goals is to become the lowest cost producer
in any market in which we are because of this very tough competitive situation. You see more and more rationalization of refractory companies in the world. Unfortunately, in the States, we don't have that rationalization. We still have too many players for the size of market that we have, but thanks to the wonderful people that we have in every department, you know, we say we have wonderful research, but research is as good as the guy in the mail room, and as good as the guy in engineering, as good as the guy, the people in the field. And putting all this team together is what made Harbison-Walker what it is. Just to tell you a little bit more, I compete with Harbison-Walker with 25 years, and I had a very tough time. I'm glad I never say that I run Harbison-Walker because that would be a big lie. I think Harbison-Walker is run by everybody that has a job in Harbison-Walker. I say the only difference between any other employee and myself is that my neck is the first one to go. So, besides that, I'm like everybody else. I'm really, my wife Doris and I have had a great time living here in the States and being part of the Harbison-Walker family. And I will welcome any question that you have. I don't know what are your concerns, but if anybody has any question, I'll be very, very happy to try to answer it. And if I can, I promise you I will send you an answer by mail anyway. I can tell you also that we keep growing. Last year we grew 11% of our sales. The following year we're going to grow another 12%. We grew 12% of our profits from last year. We're planning to grow another 15% next year. And this is thanks to the effort of everybody. And I think that the Harbison-Walker team of people is maybe the most remarkable team of refractory people in the world. And now we have people all over the place. We got about 3,000 people all over Harbison-Walker between our operations outside United States, U.S., Canada, our offices in Europe. We have offices now in Singapore. I think most of you may know John Kivala. John Kivala retired, and now he's running our sales office in Singapore, so he's having a good time in Singapore. What else can I tell you? Well, any question is welcome, so if anybody had any question, feel free. You know, Larry, because you know a lot about the latest things, so. But if anybody, feel free to ask me anything you want to know about Harbison-Walker. It's difficult for me to know more than what you know about Harbison-Walker, but I'll try. Now, if you ask me where we're going, we have a plan in which we believe we can go from $370 million sales that we are now to 500 million sales by the year 2000, with operations running in China, Southeast Asia, and with a very good position on the American continent. We intend to be the leader by far on the American continent, and that means from Alaska all the way to the Patagonias. Through our own operations, plus our licensees, we control pretty much of the market in the American continent. And now we're going after some of the business in Europe, and of course on the what they call the emerging economies, Southeast Asia, China. It's difficult to make business in China. We have a little joint venture to learn how to do business in China. And also we have to run, we won't lose too much money. So it's a pretty small thing to start with and be able to learn how things are done in China and be able to be successful. But you have to think that the success of this company is because of people like you, people that have been pushing the company for all these years and for more years to come. Thank you very much for inviting me, and any time that I will have time, you can be sure that I'll be here to share these wonderful dinners and lunches with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan. I thought sure you were going to say if you make up the questions, I'll make up the answers.
That's right.
Another gentleman asked if he might say a few words this evening. I was cautioned about any reference to age, years of service, years of retirement, and the like. So I'll just introduce him as our very senior member, John Owen.
I didn't think I was coming here as a speaker, but it's a pleasure to be with your group. It has been 14 years since I've seen some of you, and I miss some of the faces I don't see. After what Mr. Bravo said, I think that it would be appropriate for me to suggest to him, brother, can you spare a dime? Could you have a dividend established real soon? That would be very helpful. I do not have a prepared speech. I'm not going to give you a prepared speech. But in the years that I've been rattling around, I have some interesting thoughts. And there's just a line of them, one of them, of each of them here. Some of them aren't good because it showed lack of consideration for what we were supposed to do. Now, the Walsh Company, which was purchased by Dresser in 1927, had a very good business on zinc spelter furnace refractories. Now, a zinc spelter furnace to me is a small coke oven, and it's a very desirable piece of business because it's a lot of handmade work. Well, early in 1931, here's a nice big order for a spelter furnace rebuild from Matheson and Hegler Zinc Company. And that was very nice. But I get a call from the general manager to please get myself down. Get down to the plant of LaSalle, Illinois, and look at the brick that we shipped him. Well, I was pretty new at the business then, and I went down, you better believe. But my boss, Henry Smalley, said, John, you're pretty new at this. You better take somebody from the plant with you. So I got somebody from the plant. He was a pretty good man. We go down to LaSalle, and we look at the brick, and they were not very good. But I missed the man from the plant. After a little while, he came back. He says, come over, I want to show you something. Well, what the guy had been doing, the Mexico Refractory Company had received a trial order. They'd just gotten into business. He was matching up their poorest brick so he could show the superintendent. He came around and says, now come here. Come around here and put your fingers in these joints. Well, the customer's face flushed. And that was 1931. And I was in Chicago, retired in 1971, and we had not received one order in all those years. Whether they have since then, I don't know. But I think that's an indictment of some sort of a system. Maybe you're going to fight for your product, but you don't fight that hard. Now, another little deal. It's a customary thing for years. The steel mills will send a representative to the plant furnishing their blast furnace refractory. And if they see what they like, they'll have it released. Wisconsin Steel, a division of International Harvester, had given us a nice blast furnace lining. The plant called and said, the brick were ready, can we ship? Not until the inspection. So I get the superintendent, another guy, we go to inspect the brick. And they look very good. About 3 weeks later, we get a call to ship the brick. The first couple carloads that arrived, I get a call to get out to the Wisconsin Steel plant. And believe me, I did. A very poor group of brick was shipped. And I called the plant. And I said, are you shipping the brick from the kill, or are you shipping from the stock? we're shipping direct from the kiln. Is there anything wrong? I said, no, of course not. They're just not the brick that we spent money to inspect. And that's not good either. Another little thing, little ditty. Superintendent of Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company, coke oven division, always liked to inspect the production of coke oven brick. Well, he had a nice order into our company, and he went down here to Mount Union to inspect it. Well, the system of inspecting coke oven brick was to ring it, and if it rang a certain way, why, you'd get the shipment. You'd ship the brick. So he asked the superintendent of whoever it was, how often do you have these people's ears checked for hearing? And instead of thinking it was a good thing to do, the best thing to do, they laughed it off and made an enemy out of that man. So that's not very good. We had made a shipment of blast furnace brick through Gary Works, U.S. Steel. I got a call out there one day. 2 carloads of bottom blocks. John, get out here and look at them. I got out. You better believe John got out and looked at them. And they weren't very good. Well, I turned around. That section of the plant was facing Lake Michigan. I said, you're building a new road here, aren't you? He says, yes. I said, you take these damn brick and dump them out there and we'll replace them. At no cost. He looked at his assistant and said, you can't get mad at a man that talks like that, can you? And the guy said, no, of course not. So the boss told him to make up another order for 2 carloads of the blast furnace bottom brick and send these rejected brick for the blast furnace to the soaking pits. Well, when I got into the office the next day to talk about it, I just got to the point where I told him to take and dump the brick out in the lake there. My boss said, well, John, why would you tell him something like that? I said, would you let me finish the story? He said, well, what did he say? Well, I got ahead of that. I told you the end of the story. We got another order and we got a happy customer. And so that's one way to look at it. But one of my biggest disappointments in all those years of trying to sell Deere and Company in Moline, Illinois. And that would have been, at that time, my best and biggest customer that we had. But I couldn't sell them a dime's worth. I found out that A.P. Green was a big price cutter. He was cutting the price. I would report that to Bill Cooley down here in Pittsburgh. He said, John, you're trained wrong. You're trained wrong. You don't listen. I said, well, I listened out there. I know what I'm talking about. I will bet my job if you and I go out to Moline. And if I'm not correct, I'll resign. If I am correct, get out the checkbook. He would never take it up. Never take it up. Well, I'm getting... Oh, here's another one. I was in Lee Brock's office, Inland Steel Company, the vice president of purchases. He and his brother Joe ran the company. I'm sitting there with Lee one day, and his brother, the chairman, chief officer, came in with a package. This was around the Christmas time. He says, Lee, what am I going to do with this? Well, it was a gift from Basic Refractories to the chairman of the Inland Steel Company, and it was a lilac crystal. Well, he said, give it to John. You'll take it, won't you, John? I said, you better leave. And so I took it. That shows what happens to some of your misguided gifts that are sent to executives. This will be the last one. After the war was over, DPC was going to liquidate the plants. I get a call from a DPC man in Chicago saying that understood I was familiar with the Aluminum Company of America requirement of refractory brick at McCook, Illinois. That was a new plant. I said, I sure am. Well, he said, we have a big stock of brick. We want to move from there. Well, I said, why don't you just leave them there? The plant's going to operate. Just leave them there. They'll be all right. You won't have to buy some new ones. No, he said, that isn't my job. Can you help? I said, I think so. We were behind in shipments at that particular time. We couldn't make deliveries on some of the things that we had in time, and we had to lose orders. Well, we happened to have an order, an inquiry for a new tunnel kill from the Abingdon Sanitary Manufacturing Company at Abingdon, Illinois. Principal man there was a guy named D.B. Stockdale, very good man. And incidentally, he was the father of General Stockdale that you've read about in the past as being vice president candidate with Ross Perot. Very good man. But I called him and I said, we can't make the delivery you want on some of these brick, but DPC has a bunch of brick that they'd like to move. Well, they said, what do we have to do? I said, well, make him a bid and so forth and handle it. They said, well, you handle it for us? I said, I will, sure. So I figured out a little deal. I called the DPC man and I said, we have an offer on those bricks, all of them. Well, he said, what is the offer? I said, 27.5% of the invoice price. He said, where'd they ever get that figure? I said, I don't know, except they have some formula. And they'll pay 27.5% of the invoice price. The price had raised since the invoice went out. Well, we got the order, shipped everything, then they gave me half of the other order that was left. I didn't think that was very good. Well, Churchill, you know, was a pretty good man. And I'm thinking of him down there in Missouri with the Westminster Chapel dedication after the war was over. And I called Frank Hensley, our plant superintendent. I said, Frank, I'd like to have 2 seats in the center, if you don't mind. These were John. He said, I'm the mayor. And he said, I'm lucky to be in the building. I can't help you. So that was it. Oh, I got to throw in one more. Oh, this was back in my biggest disappointment. The general purchasing agent of Deere & Company called me one time. He said, John, you've been wanting me to go to your plant, see what you have. I said, that's right. That's right. I was a little greener then. And, well, he said, how about meeting me in St. Louis tomorrow morning about 9 o'clock? I said, fine, I'll be there. You better believe I'd be there. So I went down there. I called him before I went over to the hotel. Oh, he said, John, I can't make it. He said, get some pictures and bring them over and we'll look at them. Well, I was naive enough to do that. And I'm over at his hotel. But he said, bring some hooch with it. Bring a little booze. So I did, with the picture book that Raymond Severs had gotten. And I went over there. We were talking for a little while, and I hear a snicker, a female snicker in the area. And the first thing you know, he goes to the door of the closet, opens it up, and here, by golly, is his charming secretary. His charming secretary. He never did go to the plant with me. And I threatened to turn him into his employer for many times, but it just didn't work out. But believe me, that was a real disappointment because I would like to have made a little hay with some of those big orders. Well, that's enough of that. I'd like to read you a little poem that's been close to me for many years that I like. When you get what you want in the struggle of life, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife, whom judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back in the glass. You may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy. And the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, no matter all the rest. For he's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult task if the man in the glass is your friend. You may see the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass. But your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. And that's my philosophy. I didn't expect to be up here this time, but I appreciate it. I don't know whether this is a Last Supper type for me, but it might be. You never know. You have to take life as it comes. And I have, and I have been with the wonderful companies, and that's exhibited, I think, in recent years by what's happening to a lot of other companies, to, shall I say, senior citizens like most of us, pensions and all that business. That's beyond worth. But I thank you for the privilege of saying a few words. I hope I haven't hurt anybody's feelings, but believe me, there were some bad ones that I had. Thank you.
Supposedly true, John did go to the doctor's one day, ran in very excited. He said, Doctor, can you help me out? The doctor said, I don't know. Which way did you come in? Frank has one last chore in this prize patrol category. That's the door prize.
I always have to start interrupting when the program gets a little long, and that's what I've done now. What we're doing here is, if you don't recognize the fact that the prizes that we've already distributed were gifts from Harbison-Walker. And I think we owe a great voice of appreciation for the Harbison-Walker. They print our newsletter and they do all kinds of good things with us. And I'm going to start drawing names here now. We've got a few more door prizes. Well, don't take one, though. This one says Johnny Barker. I don't know whether if you go to the front, you see a door prize. I don't know whether I can get every table to pull somebody from their table. You're not going to do it. You're not allowed. You can't pull the wrong climber. So look at one down here. This one says, well, that's just why we're getting the money. Everybody's gone, so they can't have theirs. I think we make these rules as we go along. Somebody said we were a very loose organization. I don't know that that's really true. But this one says Bennett Lewis. He got a special one. I don't know how he got his name in there. He can't have it. This one says better. This says Laura Irvin. No, I don't think so. Where's Laura? Right here. She's right there. Okay, congratulations. All right, now let's see if we can get a good one here. How about one? Oh, don't throw them on the floor. I got it. All right. Yeah. You know, that was mine anyway, so we won't worry about it. No, you didn't. Let's see. Well, this one says Ron Climber. Come on, Timmy, you're going to have to go get it. Oh, he said it. He said it. Okay. Well, we got that one taken care of. That was good. How about pulling me one here? What does it say? That says Ralph Crawford. Where is he? Down there. Okay. No. That's good. Well, this one says, Lanny did. That's good. Congratulations. Are we out up yet, Bob? How many we got up there? 3 more? You wouldn't take one. That one says, John Hoseni. Yeah. He's over behind me. There you are. Okay. Let's see. This says Andrew. Okay, Laura, how about finding one for me in here? Thank you very much. This one says Al Dental. How about that? Oh, you got to pull it on. This says Bill Hogle. Where's Bill Hogle? He's not paying any attention. You know, you people are going to have to listen. First thing you know, you're going to get a prize and not know it. He took the last one. Oh, he got them all. How many more you got? 3 more. Oh, we got less to go yet. You better start paying attention. Down here. Ken Schwartz, he can't help me. You don't realize that last year, he made all the rules. But this year, he's not emceeing, so I don't give Ken a chance. This one says Al Rinky. Oh, well, let's see. You better pull one for me. We're running down here. There's only about 2 prices. And that one says, it does. Beverly Hall. That's all there is, Ken. There ain't no more.
Well, once again, we thank the generosity of Harbison-Walker for making all these gifts available to us this evening. Last but far from being least, we have a few words from our newsletter editor, Bob Leisure.
Greetings. Good to be among such nice people. Today's mail, I got a note. Our oldest and longest lived contributor, who is Ruth Butts at Vandalia Works. She's now in a care center for a while. She's going to have her 100th birthday on September 19th. But she had another girl at the plant bring in something for the newsletter here. She's been contributing for 14 years. She's 100 years old now. But that's the kind of correspondence we have in our newsletter, see? Harold Capin, his wife is undergoing surgery today, I understand. I just got that in the mail today. We thank all of you for attending this reunion. We're missing some of our regular visitors from Clearfield. Les and Ruth Nicholas could not attend because he's been having trouble with his platelet supply, which got low. And he's being treated and sees some improvement already. An old schoolmate at Dresser's College, remember when we used to go to the Dresser School in Dallas there? Bill Wentz of the mining department wrote me a note here, and he said that he's still doing some consulting with Harbison-Walker. They mined and shipped some clay to Grantsville last year, he said. Bill, when we went to the Dresser College out there, Bill liked to spit and chew, and the classes seemed awful long to him. So every break we got, he and I would go out and we'd walk around the edge of the school there, and he was chewing and spitting all the way. So that's one of our good mining friends. Our featured speaker last year, Bill McCracken, had commitments at Penn State. A lot of people have commitments at Penn State on these weekends. Skelly's have a commitment tomorrow morning to get up there. Bill's also got a son who has a birthday this weekend, so he couldn't make it. Sue Knight came all the way from, pardon me, Knight Trussell came all the way from California to show him a picture, but unfortunately Bill's not here. He'll probably be here next year, though. Oh, I got a note from Al Callett. People remember him. He's at Surfside Beach, South Carolina. He says he and his wife have completed the transition from Pittsburgh to Johnstown to South Carolina. He said he has never seen a more beautiful summer. He's out of industrial relations, that's why. Al says he's completely recovered from his stroke and is laying groundwork for a new Harbison-Walker career from South Carolina. I don't know what you know about that, but okay. Neil Crichton, who was here last year, he lived in Maryland at that time. They moved to Florida, and they're enjoying their new condo, which was just finished. Don Stock, as usual, he's out playing golf, and he's teaching, too, doing his own yard work, house maintenance, and vegetable gardening, and he's also working on a local habitat for humanity project, building 2 houses from the ground up. He sent his regards to all of you. And John Skendall also called last night and said he was sorry he couldn't make it because his wife's been sick, and he extended his best wishes to you. John, of course, was a safety director for many years. Rick Capps is now consulting for HW by assisting in the training of new field reps. He said his main focus is on the new Greenfield site, mini mill in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where HW has a 2-year commitment for 100% of the still ladle business. He's also doing some work for Steel Flow Corporation in Athens, Alabama, a slide gate value supplier. But tomorrow morning we'll be having breakfast here. Anybody that's in town at 9 o'clock at the hotel, and if you're able to attend, why stop in, and we're glad to see you. We have a notice out the desk if you want to sign there to indicate you'll be there. Howard and Claire Bloom of the marketing department, they're up in Montreal tonight, and couldn't make it. Howard and Claire Boer, yeah, are up in Montreal, yeah, tonight, so they couldn't make it. I have to apologize for Gail Veeder. I left her name off of the program there. I apologize there, Gail. And Bill Jones, he was the last one to make a reservation, so he's not in there, but he is here too also. And I'd like to thank Ken Schwartz for taking over the MC job, and I guess he'll be at all the future meetings. So, that's the way it happens. We put these at every table for names of people sitting at each table, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, so there's 2 still out in the audience there somewhere. If you will give them to me, I'd appreciate it. Okay, the only other thing, I guess, when you leave the premises, leave your name tags, because we're a frugal organization, and we recycle those every year, so if you will, just drop them in a box out at the desk there. It's been my pleasure for 14 years, and I hope to see you again next year. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thanks, Bob. We have a couple more announcements to add to yours. As he said, don't forget to turn your name tags. Breakfast tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Anybody's welcome. Annual subscription dues for the newsletter are due now. You're permitted to pay Bob if you like. Monthly luncheons are held the first Monday of each month at Wright Seafood Inn in Heidelberg. Everyone's welcome. We usually turn out 25 or 30 people at those. The newsletter mailing crew meets on the third Thursday of each month at Gaetano's on Banksville Road. We work and then we lunch. Contact one of the big shots if you have any interest. Keep your eyes on the newsletter for information on the annual Christmas get-together. Now, Frank has told me the date is going to be December the 8th. And we usually have at the Engineers Club, and it is a magnificent little affair. So if you can, please plan to be there. The videos for 96 and 97 are viewable here, so if you have an interest, just stick around. Once again, thanks for coming. Hope to see you again all next year.